Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
You complain about your job every single day, but you're not going to do anything about it, are you? Nope. You concern yourself with other people's issues, but you're not going to help them, are you? Nope. You hide behind your keyboard like you're making a difference, but are you? No. You're triggered by every single thing you read on social media, but you're not going to stop looking, are you? Nope. You tell people you're rooting for them, but you're not, are you? No. You talk shit behind everybody's back, but never to their face, don't you? Yep. Tricked ya! When I was 22 years old, I was arrested for drinking and driving. And I remember falling asleep on the concrete floor of the drunk tank. And I remember waking up because I saw the bench open up. This guy had gotten up and walked away, and I quickly jumped in. And as I lay my head back against those cinder blocks, I wake up to that same guy who definitely was a regular. As he walks up to me and he's like, "That's my seat, motherfucker. You need to move now." Of course, I was in no mood to deal with this guy. So when he said those words to me, I just kind of got up and was like, "Oh yeah? What are you gonna do about it?" "No. Now walk away." And that's exactly what he did. He just kept running his mouth all night long. And I just sat there chilling. I'd been in jail for 6 hours, and I had already established my street cred. What up? It was the worst night of my life. The so-called worst night of my life. I mean, nothing could have been worse than that night. We have this tendency to take the worst things and make them the worst things when they're not worthy of that title. And we escalate these worst things to the front page of our lives, and we take every single person that we love along for the ride. Until one day, we wake up and we get smart and we realize that the so-called worst things that ever happened to us are actually the best things, because if they had never happened, we wouldn't be able to change. You don't think God has a sense of humor? You should tell him about your plans. I used to tell my buddies, "I'm gonna drink tonight till the concrete feels soft." There I am, sleeping on the middle of the jail cell floor. Because you gotta have goals, right? And that's where I realized I should probably reprioritize those goals while I'm at it. Starting with, how about not getting behind the damn wheel of the car after I've taken 6 shots of Jägermeister at the nightclub off the list forever.
We're now going to progress to some steps which are a bit more difficult. Ready? Give me what you promised me. Give it here.
You know, it was a couple of years later, after I finally got my stuff together, finally graduated college, got a job in sales selling pest control. I show up to this house on the north side of town. Supposedly they have an infestation of fleas. And I wasn't shocked when I actually got there and found out they did have an infestation of fleas, because the homeowner was my homie from jail that night, and he had no idea who I was. As he's sitting there with his wife and I'm walking around doing this half-ass inspection, I was pretty cocky back then. I walked back, put the quote on the table, and I'm telling you, it's a true story. He has no idea who I am. Until this very moment when I look at him, as I set the quote down, I was like, what are you gonna do about it? In that moment, right then and there, boom, his eyes light up. Especially when I looked at him and I said, exactly what I thought. Nothing. I just got up, shook my head, walked away. You see, the irony of getting arrested for drinking and driving, in my case, is that it took me another decade to finally do something about it. Because what I thought was the worst thing that could ever happen in my entire life happened again. And the point is that it's not the worst thing. It is an example of how God has a sense of humor, though, because he can take what you think is the worst thing in your life and turn it into the best thing. And every single year, year after year after year, I have this friend of mine who on my sober anniversary will look at me and say, "How'd you do it?" And it's such a tough answer for me to give because I know it's a loaded question. And I know it's a loaded question because it took me a few years to figure it out. I always feel like I need to come up with a sophisticated answer. It's my recovery program, or it's my accountability, or it's my small group, or, it's me. Nope. None of that. None of that at all. In case you haven't picked up on this by now, I'm a pretty intense person. I go to bed mad, I wake up tired. I am full of resentment, I'm depressed all the time, I have FOMO. I get irritated when people tell me how to live my life. I hate it when people lie about who they are, especially when they do it in front of somebody else. I get annoyed easily. I do not care what people think about me, and I don't listen well. Nothing drives me more crazy than the fact that drinking is not the real problem in my life. But rather than complain about it, why not be about it? Instead of bringing problems to the table, why not bring solutions? At least that's what my mom always taught me. I don't understand how I can deal with my problems for 10 years and people can't deal with theirs for 10 seconds. Maybe you need to ask yourself, what am I going to do about it? Did you get in a fight with your wife last night? I got an idea. Tell her you're sorry. Are you unemployed and telling everyone, I can't find a job? Well, maybe you should go work at McDonald's in the meantime. Are you pissed off or triggered by politics or some social issue? You ever thought about running for office? Or maybe write your congressman? And lastly, and probably the most important one, is ask yourself, am I hurting? Because if you're hurt, the best advice I can give you after 10 years of trying to be sober is help someone. Hurt people. And if you're hurt, why don't you try helping someone? Because I guarantee it, if you do that, you won't feel hurt anymore. So what are you going to do about it? After 10 years of sobriety, here's what I know. I know that I can only control the controllables. And the answer to the question that a friend of mine would ask me every single year, how did you do it? I finally know how to answer that question. It's exactly what I thought. Nothing. I didn't do shit. God did.
But I'm showing you that door. I gotta have faith. Gotta have faith.